Hello and welcome again. I am pleased to welcome you to the second segment of our broadcast today. This is welcoming you to our enlightenment broadcast. I am still Pastor Maxwell Nawihe. The focus of our broadcast is credited to the United Nations, this very powerful global body. It is a shock to the Nigerian government what they have decided to say in their judgment for Nnamdi Kanu, what they have decided to explain what the ingredients that comprises this very powerful legendary judgment that nobody should trivialize, that nobody should ever trivialize. They simply stated very, very clearly, not based on prejudice or tribalism or bribery, as I said in the previous broadcasts, that any denial of access to lawyers, any denial in the case of Nnamdi Kanu of access to lawyers substantially compromise the capacity of Nnamdi Kanu to defend himself. And this is exactly what the lawyers are struggling with. The legal team of Nnamdi Kanu, they are struggling with this. They are being denied access, and the materials with which they were supposed to prepare Nnamdi Kanu for his defense are being extracted from them, photocopied, exposed. Why should it be that the authorities, the detaining authority, should be looking for the materials that the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu is coming with in order to prepare him for defense when the government has its own lawyers? What information could the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu, what information could his legal team have that the government doesn't have? The government has so much resources to extract any information from anywhere without coming in direct confrontation or contact with the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu. Whatever information that the government need, they have the resources, they have the media, they have the intelligence, right? So what is it that they are scared of that could be a very important bullet point or strong line of advocacy that the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu has that could possibly dislodge them in their own court, that could possibly put them in disarray in their own court, that they want to look into any document that they are bringing it to Nnamdi Kanu that he may look into it, he may answer some questions. There's going to be, some kind of discussions, briefings, that the government is scared. They want to look into it, to see what they want to say, to see the questions, to see the evidence they have, to see all the information they have that could possibly dislodge the government or destroy or jeopardize the chances of convicting Nnamdi Kanu in the court. This is injustice. And the United Nations judgment, it is so vocal, so clear in black and white, and it is a shock to Nigeria that the United Nations could come up with such position to say that any denial of access to the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu substantially compromises the capacity of Nnamdi Kanu to defend himself. Some of you have come across the press briefing of the lawyers on this very platform, which I broadcasted a few days ago, and many more will be broadcasted on this very platform. Some of you have heard all their lamentation, their outcry of injustice, that they are being denied access, unfettered access to their client, which is their constitutional right as practicing lawyers in Nigeria. Within their jurisprudence, they are supposed to have access to their client to prepare him for trial, to ask him some questions, to debrief him or to brief him, that they may look into whatever merit of the angle of advocacy they want to take in the line of defense in the courtroom. It is their right. They are lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu. You have your own lawyers. All of them are lawyers. The ground of both the constitution that affect the right of Nnamdi Kanu or the constitution, sections of constitutions that gives the Nigerian government the legitimacy they claim. The constitution is for both of them. All of them are coming to the court. The lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu are coming to the court The lawyers of the Nigerian government, they are all coming to the court. The references or the citations of law must derive its legitimacy from the same constitution. There is no different constitution for Nnamdi Kanu, and there is no different constitution for the Nigerian government. The constitution, they told us, is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. And every citation of law must derive its legitimacy from the same constitution. So why are they scared that they wouldn't allow the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu, based on their constitutional right, to prepare him for his defense? Sometimes they will ransack all the things that the lawyers are coming with. They will search their pocket. They will almost strip them of, their clothing, as we are meant to. I'm not the one saying it. It is in the public domain. So stop looking at those people that are looking at me and thinking that, oh, I'm talking. Am I there? Did I go there? Is it not in the public domain? Did the government come up to deny it? Has the government ever written a press statement or held a press conference to refute all of these weighty allegations, which the lawyers have been able to provide dates and times and how it was carried out against them? The United Nations shocks Nigeria, and they said any denial of access to lawyers substantially compromises the capability, the ability of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to defend himself. And when that happens, there is no fair trial. The process is illegal, is unconstitutional, and should be boycotted. I am going to bring one of my broadcasts in 2023, 15th of December 2023, during the Supreme Court judgment of Nnamdi Kanu. I was live on air. And after that very judgment, I announced it on air that the case of Nnamdi Kanu has ended officially in Nigeria. It has ended in the court of Nigeria. That any other, they say, oh, the case has been remitted back to the High Court. I said it is fallacy. It is a joke of the century. It shouldn't be taken serious. And I made a promise that I will never broadcast the court proceedings of Nnamdi Kanu again. Not because I'm angry, not because I am no longer supporting him, but for the fact that officially the case has ended. We understand the Constitution. The Supreme Court of Nigeria is the apex court, is the final, is the Supreme Court. After that very court, there is no other court in Nigeria. The Constitution of Nigeria says that litigation must have an ending. And litigation processes ends at the Supreme Court. I have cited the example of Mr. P2B. His case at the Supreme Court ended there against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Atiku Abubakar the same. Their case all ended at the Supreme Court, and they decided to address the press, and they decided to hands off. That's it. Why is it that the same Supreme Court, when the case of Nnamdi Kanu got there, they now did a bar turn, remitted back to the High Court? And in the High Court, the Justice Binta Nyako Court is trying to overrule the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And people are laughing and clapping, TikToking, tweeting what they don't understand, going about their lawful businesses or what, without minding what is at stake as a nation, as a people. It is a collective injustice to over 200 million Nigerians. Because this is going to become a legal precedence. It will be used to judge another person that is not Nnamdi Kanu. If you allow it to stick, if you allow it to stay, if you don't stand up at once and make sure that you make your own contribution, whatever it will take to ensure that justice is seen to have been done in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Release him unconditionally, that he may go and take care of himself. He has a congestive heart failure resulting from the medications that are being given to him in the DSS. What capacity do they have to conduct complex open heart surgery? Such complex open heart surgery that has to do with the regurgitation of his left ventricle valve. The valve in his heart that is pumping blood is not closing well. And as a result of that, the blood is leaking. You want him to die before you can. Oh, they were saying it, but that pastor was saying it, but they were broadcasting it. That is always what the black people do. Black people they are not proactive. They are not so active in standing up when it is time for them to do so, in making hair while it shines. They like to look for the black goat when it is dark in the night. I am bringing back to the screen. I am bringing it to the screen. Those that are joining for the first time, I am Pastor Maxwell Nnamdi. All my broadcasts are on this platform. Some are on YouTube, Maxwell Nnamdi. On Twitter, X, Maxwell Nnamdi. On Facebook, Maxwell Nnamdi. Search for my name on Facebook. My page is there, Maxwell Nnamdi. Like the page, follow the page. On Twitter, at Maxwell Nnamdi, which is X, at Maxwell Nnamdi. If you are trying to see how you're going to lay hold on all my broadcasts and my teachings and prophecies, search for Maxwell Nnamdi. Go to Google, search Maxwell Nnamdi or Pastor Maxwell Nnamdi. You will be furnished with an array of all my broadcasts and teachings and prophecies. I am bringing to the screen, without further ado, that very powerful decision of the United Nations in the favor of Nnamdi Kanu and by extension, the Biafran people and all lovers of freedom. It is on the screen right now. Category 3, paragraph 89. The source has submitted. The source, once again, is Bruce Fein, the former Deputy Attorney General of the Federal of the United Nations. United States of America, not the United Nations. You know, we have been using all these words quite often, Nigeria, Republic, and all that. So from time to time, they come out of our mouth. So the source is Bruce Fein, former Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America. The source is the one that went to the United Nations on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. He is the attorney, the international attorney of Nnamdi Kanu. He made a submission, which is in reference under this paragraph 89. The source has submitted, and the government did not address that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was denied effective legal representation. The working group considers legal representation as being a core facet of the right to a fair trial. Legal assistance should be available at all stages until the case is over. At all stages. You must allow the lawyers to do their work. That is what the United Nations is saying. Allow them. DSS allowed them. Nigeria allowed them. At all stages of the criminal proceedings, namely pre-trial stages, allow them. Trial stage, allow them. Appellate stages, allow them. To ensure compliance with fair trial guarantees, allow them. Don't stand and block them like as if I don't want to use certain words. Any denial of access to lawyers substantially undermines and compromises an accused person's capacity to defend him or herself in any judicial proceeding. Any denial of access. Just like the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu, they are crying now. Just like the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu, they have been making press conferences and press releases in recent times, explaining their ordeal at the hands of the detaining authority, the Department of State Security Services, DSS, at the behest of the government. Don't deny them access. Don't. If you feel that you have a very strong case, a very good case against Nnamdi Kanu, why are you trying to make it difficult for them to do their job? You have the array of the you can afford any son, you can afford any lawyer, you can afford to pay any of them. If you feel that your own legal team, the legal team of the government is not doing well, and the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu is doing better than that of the government, you can still hire more. Huh? But allow these ones to do their job. It is their constitutional right. Even criminals have lawyers. The Constitution guarantees that a criminal, even if it's a murder case, even if it is confirmed that this person is a criminal, is a killer, he murdered somebody, he killed somebody, he's a thief. People, there are eyewitnesses. Go to court and address it. Go to court. Allow that very accused person to prove his case. And that will be done through his lawyer, his legal representatives. Allow them. You bring your own lawyer, they bring their own lawyer. At the end of the day, let justice reign supreme. But this one, you say, no, you will not enter. What paper are you holding? Bring that document. Come on, bring it. Why are you taking it to him? Who asked you to give it to him? Intimidations. Is that how you win a case? By intimidation. Is that how you win a case in a court? Is it not by evidence? Is it not by looking at the merit of the matter based on the relevant laws, not the subversion of it? Allow them access. That is what the United Nations is saying. Allow the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu, just allow them to do their job. If you are not allowing them access, if you are not allowing Nnamdi Kanu to have access to his lawyers, you are compromising, you are undermining his capacity to defend himself. In other words, you have accused him of a crime and you don't want him to defend himself. Who does that? That is criminal. That is unconstitutional before the domestic law of Nigeria and that of the international United Nations. It is criminal. You should be honorable. Government should be honorable. Government should be respectable. Government should be, when you come out as the president, you come out as a governor, when the people look at you, when they praise you and say His Excellency, it should be because you merited it, not because you are entitled to it as a result of winning election or being rigged into office through a very unclear and very, very distorted figures. Just like in the case of 2023 presidential elections. That when people see your convoy drive past them in the street, when they are calling His Excellency and they're, oh, that's my governor, they are saying it with joy and a sense of understanding that indeed you merit that very accolade or applaud or praises that they are called to you. Government should be with dignity, and dignity comes with responsibility. And responsibility is not segregative of any circumstance. That in every circumstance, you will be able to demonstrate how responsible you are as a government. Allow justice to take its course. If I feel that somebody has stepped on my toes, and I feel that somebody has abused my right, or I feel that as a person, as an individual on whose right is enshrined or guaranteed in the Constitution, that somebody has done something that I believe is a criminal act or whatever it is, and I want to seek redress in the court. When I hire my lawyer, I debrief my lawyer in the chamber. My lawyer says, okay, let's file a process. A process is filed. We head to court. I should allow them to bring their own lawyer. Let's see in court. You come with a lawyer, I come with my lawyer. We stand there. They look into relevant matters, relevant law, citations of authority. They merit based on the Constitution. What does the Constitution and the relevant law say in regard to that very proceeding? And the judge should be there to look into the merit of both the accused or the appellant. What is the merit? And give judgment in that very light. Not to stand and intimidate the lawyers from doing their work. Allow them to do their job. That is what the United, and it is a shocker. It is a shock. And by the grace of God, there is a spiritual dimension to the judgment of the United Nations. I have explained this several times. And for records, maybe some people are watching this broadcast for the first time. There are people that are watching this, my broadcast, for the first time. They have not seen my face before. They have not come in contact with my broadcast before. They don't even know who is Maxwell Onowia, except from this very broadcast right now. And that is why from time to time, we try to re-emphasize on certain things for those that must have missed it in previous broadcasts, not trying to take credit or take glory. There is a spiritual dimension to the judgment of the United Nations. We just ended our first segment of the broadcast today, which is a teaching series in line with the Word of God. We have seen it there. The spiritual dimension to this very United Nations judgment is like that of Joseph, who was imprisoned wrongly. And by the grace of God, God brought him out in Genesis, between Genesis chapter 39 and the chapter 41 and the chapter 42. He has now become the governor general in Egypt. Okay? He came out. What happened? He was locked away by a mere accusation by the wife of Potiphar. You remember he was sold as a slave. Slaves don't have mouth. They don't have the opportunity or the privilege to defend themselves. So the master's wife accused him of attempted rape. What did they do? Immediately, they incarcerated him. No fair hearing, no trial, no nothing, no legal proceeding. He was locked away, not even awaiting trial. Who is he going to stand trial with? Who is he going to go to court with? Is he with Potiphar when he's a slave? They don't do it in those days. And that is exactly what is happening, even in the so-called democracy. That you will accuse somebody of a crime, you will accuse somebody, oh, he's trying to propagate war, he's trying to incite the people, there is treasonable felony, he wants to commit it, he wants to oust the government. You accuse, you bring all manner of allegations, you kept on amending it. Why not allow the person to defend himself? Why? Are you Pharaoh? Are we in the medieval period when emperors rule nations? Is that where we are? Come on. Nigeria should be far more greater and bigger than all of these little criminal acts and involvements. Unconstitutional. The United Nations is allow the lawyers, don't ever stand in the way as they are carrying out their job. If you do, you are compromising the capacity of Nnamdi Kanu to defend himself in your court. You brought him to Nigeria to face trial. Why not allow him to face that trial? You brought him to Nigeria that he must face trial. Buhari say, let him come back and face trial in our own court. That you cannot be broadcasting in London or saying anything from any part of the world against the government, and then you cannot come and face trial. Now, finally, they have brought him back to come and face trial. To face that same trial, you are stopping, you are making it so difficult for him to defend himself. That is unfortunate. That is unacceptable before God and before man. And every human being that has this very predisposition or inclination for justice, you must stand up and speak against it. You must speak against it. It is evil. It is evil. Don't condone it. Don't condone it. We must continue. We must continue. I want to be sure that my voice is really coming out because of network, lot of issues. Yes, it is confirmed. It is confirmed that my voice is coming out. Sometimes I don't even know that my voice is not coming out. We must continue. We must continue. Under the category 3, that's where we are. The source has submitted, and the government did not address that Mr. Kanu was denied effective legal representation. The working group considers legal representation as being a core facet of the right to a fair trial. So if you don't allow that very legal representation to take its course and to run on its full course, there is not going to be a fair trial. There is not going to be a fair trial. In fact, we are going to bring this broadcast to an end at this point because I don't want us to lose focus on this very paragraph 89. Look at the merit. Just look at it with open mind. Don't allow tribalism or nepotism to becloud your reasoning. You say, oh, who is this? And Nnamdi Kanu said, he's not my brother. Why is this pastor always shouting? Why is he always preaching? Can't he just be preaching repentance? What do you understand? The government need to repent. I am preaching repentance as well. The government need to begin to do things in the right way. The government must allow the rule of law. They made the law. They should allow the law. They shouldn't be above the law. The source, Bruce Fein, has submitted. The government did not address it. What did he submit? That Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was denied effective legal representation, and it is happening till today. The working group considers legal representation as being a core facet of the right to a fair trial. What else do you want to hear? What else? What else? That the press releases and conferences of the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu is in order. And that is why it is a shock to the government of Nigeria. Yes. It's in order. Why are you threatening the legal team. Why? Why? Why are you taking away the documents they are coming with in order to debrief and to consult with their client? Why? Why are you photocopying it? Are they your documents? Do they belong to you? Just like students in an exam hall. Why are you doing malpractice? Why are you involved in exam malpractice or legal malpractice? Why? Why? Tell me why. Tell us why. The law you made, you are now compromising the law. You are now trying to bypass your own law. You are now trying to bypass it. Your law that you made. You are no longer confident in your own law to follow the stipulated guidelines and procedures in your own law. Hi, Chineke mene mebere. Why? You brought them to court. You don't want them to come to court and face the trial. Why? What do you want? It means you are not confident. It means you are not confident if you have a merit, if you have any legal ground to justify what you claim you are doing in order to bring about justice, in order to address whatever you're addressing with regards to the activities of Nnamdi Kanu, his activism. You don't have legal basis. The working group considers legal representation as being a major facet of the right to fair trial. In other words, if there's limited legal representation, if there is a threatened legal representation, if there is a compromised legal representation, if there is a blackmailed legal representation, if the legal representation of an accused person is under threat, is not allowed to do their job, is not allowed unfettered access to the client to prepare him for his defense, it means there is not going to be a fair trial. That is what the United Nations is saying. If you remove this core facet of fair trial, which is effective legal representation, it means you have destroyed the process of fair trial. You have destroyed it. If it is a building, you have pulled it down. You have demolished it. If the process to fair trial is a human being, if you remove legal representation from it, you have killed that very person. Look at it here. Legal assistance should be available at all stages of the criminal proceeding. As you said that Nnamdi Kanu committed crime. Oh, treasonable felony. Oh, he committed crime. Oh, he broadcasting from London. Oh, criminal proceeding was now initiated against him by the government of Muhammadu Buhari. United Nations is shocking the country by saying legal assistance should be available at all the stages that you have already started. All the stages of this very criminal proceedings you have initiated against Nnamdi Kanu. Pre-trial stage, which is where they have been from 2015. They have been there, rigmarolling. Pre-trial stage. It is just recently that the trial started. Pre-trial stage, number 1. Number 2, trial stage. And number 3, appellate stages. To ensure compliance with fair trial guarantees. To ensure, to make sure that there is fair trial. Not just to drag somebody to court. Not just, oh, you are a Federal Republic of Nigeria. Make sure that there is a fair trial. Let there be a compliance to ensure there is a fair trial. That if you were able to convict Nnamdi Kanu in the court, when history judged that very case by itself, history will say, oh, you did very well. You followed the due process of law. Yes, what you did is right. It is in accordance. It is in strict compliance with the guidelines for fair trial that you were able to secure the conviction of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Anything contrary to this, any denial of access to lawyers substantially undermines and compromises an accused person, which is Nnamdi Kanu, his capacity to defend himself in this very criminal proceeding in Nigeria. With this, we are bringing the very broadcast to an end. We are bringing it to an end because the truth has been buttressed and has been brought to the fore. We are bringing this broadcast to an end, knowing that men and women of good conscience, men and women, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your religious inclination, regardless of whatever faith that you profess, whatever is your political view or ideology, that regardless of whatever is your predisposition or mindset when it comes to the case of Nnamdi Kanu and why he should be released urgently and immediately for a complex open heart surgery to save his life, whatever be your posture when it comes to the case of Nnamdi Kanu, this is the truth. This is the truth. John chapter 8 verse 32, you shall know the truth. Nigeria shall know the truth and embrace it. The government should know the truth and embrace it. And the truth will in turn set us free. Free from all of this mess that we have found ourselves. A country that has seen different kind of government without true deliverance of good governance. All the African countries that were colonized by the same Britain, they have all risen up. They have all gone far. Today, Ghana cedis is higher in value in exchange rate than that of Naira. What a shame. With this, we bring this very broadcast to an end. I am Pastor Maxwell over here. We are coming back to you with the next segment of our broadcast. From me, from here, it is goodbye.